Alright guys, happy Saturday. Hope you guys are doing alright out there. Glad to have you all here for today with some more forecasting. We're going to take a look and see what is going on here in the future. Hope everyone's doing alright. Once again, happy Saturday to everybody out there. Hope you all are having a good weekend thus far. Let's go ahead and see who is here for today. We have Jonathan, we have Online Tough Guy, we have Emily, we have Jean, we have Haley, we have Fairless, we have Gina, and we have Brandon. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing all right. Cube is here as well. Hope everyone's doing all right, my friends. Glad to have you all here. So, like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's actually go ahead and switch over here. We have a live camera today, by the way. Live camera here in St. Paul, which is basically Minneapolis. Same thing, pretty much. St. Paul's kind of on the eastern side of Minneapolis, which I'm going to go ahead and show you real quickly, just so there's no confusion of where this is at. So here's Minnesota. There's St. Paul. Basically, this is all Minneapolis, and St. Paul is basically the eastern side. What's up, everybody? We'll see here. Mark is here. What's up, Mark? Hope you're doing good. Once again, glad to have everybody here for today. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Let's go and see. Gina says, brutal cold here. I don't like it. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame you there. It's definitely been pretty chilly here in Kentucky. Last night it got down to like, I think, 14 degrees where I'm at. Relatively close to Louisville, which... it's a little cold. Like I said, especially I just came up from Florida, so I'm used to temperatures in the 70s and 80s during the day anyways, but today was a high of like 34, I think, something like that. Overall, it was pretty daggone chilly. You know, definitely not something I'm not used to anyways. But anyways, my friends, well, we're going to be doing a little bit of a mixture in today's live stream. We're going to start off, you know, once everyone starts coming in here, we're going to start off by looking at some models. We're going to take a look at a few storm systems that could impact the country here. We're going to be doing personal forecasts, too. If anyone has a zip code, not right now, but here in a few minutes, we're here in a little bit, you know, kind of towards the halfway point of the stream, maybe halfway later portion of the stream, then we will be doing personal forecasts for you guys, obviously with zip codes and all that fun stuff. Brandon says 26 last night in Alabama. That's actually pretty cold for Alabama. You know, obviously that is a little bit chilly, at least for the southern area. I don't know exactly where you're at. Let's see, that's weird. I didn't get a notification you were live, says Turner Eclipse. Interesting. Huh. I wonder why. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and dive right on into this. So we're going to take a look here, first of all, at the NAM 3-kilometer model as a future radar reference in terms of what we could see here, essentially over the next few days. So the current time right now, obviously today's Saturday, the current time Eastern time, which you guys can see the time up there, 7 p.m. So we're kind of near 9 o'clock right now Eastern, so we're kind of right around in here, essentially. So we have some moisture that is starting to pull up across portions of the west. I'm going to go ahead and grab my pen here so I can actually draw on the screen and all that fun stuff. But anyways, Let's go ahead and bring that over here. So, yeah, we got a bit of moisture moving its way in across portions here of, obviously, California. Now, here's the thing. Areas here in the upper elevations of California. I was actually watching, the models and everything like that for the last little bit. Apparently, it's possible we could see maybe 2.5 feet of snow, for those upper level areas of California. So, we'll dive more into that here in a little bit. But anyway, so what's going on right now is a relatively dry country. I mean, hey, there's really not too much happening, as of right now, other than that little kick of moisture across the west. But like I said, really, there's not much happening. But here we go. We track away over here towards tomorrow. Let's just go ahead and track all the way here to around noon, which is to say. So right here for noon, we're actually going to get a bit of snow moving into portions here of the western country. Like I said, obviously, we're going to be seeing essentially that big moisture kick moving in through the west, obviously even moving in towards the western country. Like I said, delivering once again a lot of snow for those upper elevations. That definitely seems to be quite likely. Now, some of that moisture might also impact, with the potential of some snow, towards like Nevada, towards areas of, Idaho, possibly Oregon, and maybe even Washington State. Could be seeing a little bit of this here, possibly into Montana down here. So once again, this is for tomorrow afternoon. So we track away into tomorrow evening, okay? So essentially what's possible. So if you look closely, kind of more localized towards like Michigan, there's a possibility maybe a few snow showers being possible, a little bit of thunderstorm activity just off the coast of eastern Florida that could be possible there. Then we track away obviously here for the midnight hour here for the early 6th. Once again, continuous snow showers across the west. That's going to be, introduced with this little, like I said, it's going to be introduced with this little, moisture band moving through here. Once you get across pretty much the Ohio Valley, northeast, I mean, it's possible, it is definitely possible for the early 6th. We could be seeing a little bit of, maybe some snow showers. Definitely looks quite possible, but here we go. So you're going to notice something interesting start to happen here. If you look closely, watch the northern plains. Watch up here towards, like, Nebraska, Minnesota, North, South Dakota. Things get a little bit interesting. So let's go ahead and track our way down here. So, once again, this is for midnight on the 6th. So this is obviously not tonight, not tomorrow night, but basically the morning of the 6th, essentially. So, we track our way down here through time. So we're going to notice how we are going to start to see a little bit of blue, which, like I said, is representing snow, starting to move into areas here of western Dakotas. This will track its way up here to the east. Maybe a little bit of ice could be possible out of this. But from what it looks like, we might have ourselves a potential snowmaker here. We're actually looking at the possibility that we might see some snow here towards North, South Dakota. Minnesota looks very likely. Same thing for areas of northern Wisconsin. I'd even say the upper state of Michigan is looking pretty good. It looks like a little weak disturbance, a little weak cold front could be possible out of this. But, just before you guys go asking, I don't think there's going to be any thunderstorms on this here. I mean, the temperatures, we take a look here over at those, those temperatures are going to be in the 40s. I mean, really nothing too supportive of anything, crazy going on there. But like I said, I mean, this will obviously possibly bring us some snow, for the upper Midwest towards the northern plains region. Like I said, for those people, hey, this could be a bit, this could be a little bit of snow possibility there. So once again, we track our way down here through time. We're just going to go ahead and play this flat out for you guys. Like I said, if you want to follow along with time, so the top right, moisture kick comes through. Remainder of the moisture continues to move its way into areas of the northern plains, upper Midwest, for the early 6th into the 7th. Could be possible. This is probably our next little system. But once we take a look at the long range, there is a model, or there's a few models here that we're going to look at. And there is a lot of support of a system happening here kind of around Wednesday, Thursday, for here pretty much for this upcoming week. So, and there could be some impacts on it. Possibly some snow, maybe some thunderstorms. Could theoretically be possible with it. We'll take a look at that here in a second. So, we're going to have to really analyze this here in a moment. But like I said, this is basically just over the next 3 days, essentially, just pretty much mostly like 2.5 days, essentially. Once again, big kick of moisture across the west, driving some snow. New system develops across the upper Midwest, obviously northern plains region, maybe delivering some snow. We'll get to the accumulations here in a moment. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on back here really quickly. And we're going to take a look at those models I was telling you guys about. We're going to see what's going on here in the future. Basically in the long range. Like I said, that was kind of the short range forecast here. Now we got to look a little bit further out. We're going to see what's going on here a little bit further out. So the first model we're going to be taking a peek at, this is the GFS. This is basically, GFS stands for Global Forecast System. This is the long range American model. This is an American model, by the way. So we track our way down through time. Obviously, we get that little system, possibly driving some snow through, like, upper Midwest regions, yada, 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 yada. That goes through. But look what happens. So obviously, as a result of the cold front from that little weak disturbance there, essentially, moving across the northern country, this might just pull enough moisture up north to start a new system. And that kind of seems very possible. So we track our way down here a little bit further in time, and you start to notice a lot of rain popping up here. Essentially for like the 8th, the late 7th into the early 8th, low pressure system develops across the southern Midwest, tracks its way up here to the north. Now, there's a pretty well-defined cold front on there, according to the reflectivity view. Now, the question is there going to be enough energy on this frontal system to allow for thunderstorms? Well, we'll dive more into that here in a little bit as well. But like I said, it's a possibility. We could see maybe some more thunderstorm activity towards the south. Once again, this is just one model, but we'll take a look at the other ones and see what they have to say as well. Then we track our way down here in time. Now, there's a possibility here the GFS model does support a bit of snow, possibly some winter weather, towards areas of like Kansas, through Iowa, through portions of northern Missouri, through Wisconsin, through portions of Michigan possibly. And obviously portions of the Northeast could see that as well, right there in the cooler air, which is definitely possible. And then after that, really don't like to go too far out, but there's another little system that fires off here far in time. But once again, that's for the that's basically for the 11th, and I don't like to take a look that far. But anyways, like I said, just support there, basically starting for the 7th into the 8th. Low pressure system kicks off across the southern Midwest, obviously towards like Arkansas, kicks its way up to the northeast with a well-defined cold front, and possibly driving some snow for portions of the Midwest. That's according to the GFS model. Now, let's go ahead and track down here. We're going to take a look here now at the European model. Now, this is where we compare between what the models have to say. Like I said, we can't just look at one and be like, okay, that's going to happen. We need to look at different opinions, and we need to obviously see what's going on between each of the models. So, tracking our way down here through time, obviously that little disturbance moves its way across the upper Midwest. Here we go. We got a lot of rain starting to pop up here for the late 7th into the early 8th. Once again, kind of the same thing. Low pressure system kicks up there towards Arkansas. Looking pretty fresh so far. Possibly some snow towards Kansas, that's what the GFS said. Iowa, maybe getting some snow. Minnesota, Wisconsin, portions of, Michigan even. And then obviously portions of the Northeast possibly could see that as well. So, honestly, I am actually a bit shocked. I'm a bit surprised on how well essentially the models are handling this. There's a lot of good talks between the American GFS and the European model. They are both in pretty fair agreement that overall support of this system is there. I give this about an 80% chance of happening. I'm pretty confident this system will happen. Like I said, I'm about probably a 60% confident about the snowfall. I think that's going to be a big possibility, especially for like the Midwest region, maybe the upper Midwest. Thunderstorms, I'm still a little skeptical about that. I'm going to say probably 30%. But we'll see. Like I said, we're going to take a look more into models and stuff like that. This is new to me even. I've briefly looked at them, but I have not really diving into them as much as I have on the live stream here. I wanted to save that excitement for the stream. So overall, things are in pretty decent agreement. Like I said, between the American GFS and the European ECMWF, like I said, it looks definitely quite favorable. Now, there is one more model we're going to look at. That's the GDPS model. I sometimes bring this up whenever I'm not certain about something, but I just want to bring this up here and essentially to just take a look and see what we could see. Just what this model has to say. So we track our way down here through time. Little, cold front, maybe kick up some more moisture. Low pressure system develops across the south. That seems pretty good. Obviously, not really anything for Kansas per se, but areas of like, Iowa, Minnesota, possibly, Wisconsin, Michigan, those areas, once again, looks pretty probable. So overall, I have to give this a pretty good possibility of actually happening. Like I said, a lot of the models are supporting this. They said once you start to add a bunch of models saying the same thing over and over, it starts to make you think, is that going to happen? And in this case, I think it's quite possible. I think it really is. So we'll see. Like I said, obviously this system's going to be really happening here for basically the early 7th. The late 7th, early 8th moving through. And obviously this will probably last through the 10th from what it looks like. According to, there's an estimate here. So, it looks quite possible overall. So like I said, snow chances, severe storm chances are there. They look quite possible, I'm not going to lie with you guys. I think I think severe storms in the south could be a new thing, or I say that in exaggeration. Could be a thing, possibly for middle of this month. So we'll see how that happens. But anyways, on that topic, just out of curiosity, I do want to take a look here back at the models. I want to zoom into the southeast more specifically, though, and I want to see the conditions if they're favorable for thunderstorms and possibly severe thunderstorms. So let me go ahead and switch over here. I'm going to toggle the full screen mode for this. That way we can, take soundings and all that stuff. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab the GFS first. We're just going to look at the GFS, the American model here really quickly. First thing we typically look at is to make sure there's even any energy in the atmosphere. That's the first thing we try to do here. So we're going to take a look at severe weather. We're going to take a look here at, in this case, we'll take a look at most unstable Cape. So we track our way down here through time. Obviously, we got a lot of advection popping up here, basically for the 7th and 8th. We're going to switch to the southern plains. I feel like that's a good place to start. So we track our way down here through time, obviously there for the 7th and 8th. Boom. Yeah, so it definitely looks like we might just have enough advection to allow for some thunderstorm potential. That looks quite probable. Really the value is over 1,000 is the Goldilocks zone. Anything above 1,000 is pretty dang good, regarding, thunderstorm potential, which is definitely pretty crazy. So that looks quite possible. Then it tracks its way over here to the east, which we're going to move over here to the east as well. And you can actually see here how still some of that energy exists across the southeast. So I tell you what, according to this definitely looks quite possible. I did not mean to hit the desk like that. It definitely looks quite possible. So we're going to have to keep that in the looks. I do want to compare this as well. Mixed layer Cape here with the ECMWF. Definitely looks possible. We have a lot more energy there, possibly existent. Let's just grab a sounding here. I'm just going to grab one across the highlight area. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is a good sounding. A lot of winds, really screaming to the north. A lot of that warm air advection, a lot of warm air screaming towards the surface, pushing to the north. The higher you go up in the atmosphere, the wind direction changes a little bit, kind of to the northeast, essentially. So there's a bit of turn in the atmosphere. There's a little photograph representation of the winds changing. So the wind changing direction there, and obviously speed too. So that's. Like I said, that's a good possibility for maybe a few tornadoes there. Mixed layer Cape energy is kind of limited though, honestly. But this is winter after all, and even a little bit of that could throw out some stuff. Mid-60s dew points, that's actually pretty daggone good. So I think, according to things here, we might have some thunderstorms. We might have some potentially severe thunderstorms here for the 8th, possibly into the 9th. We're gonna have to watch that a little closely. I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, here's the GDPS model. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. Not showing as much energy in the atmosphere as some of these other ones. How far out is that? Let's see. This is okay for the 7, 8. Okay, so this is obviously too far out for mid-range models to pick up on. So this is kind of a close long-range type of ordeal here. But like I said, I mean, there seriously might just be enough energy in the atmosphere to kick off some severe storms, possibly. Maybe towards Louisiana, possibly towards, Arkansas, maybe Mississippi. Could happen. It could be possible. So we'll see how things play out for that. And right now, right at the moment, regarding everything on the Storm Prediction Center's website. Today we have a little thunderstorm risk across southern Florida. A few California areas there. That moisture moving through, a little bit of thunder being possible. Same thing tomorrow, essentially. Then for Monday, 0. Absolutely nothing is in the forecast. But look at this. They don't have potential too low. They have predictability too low. So obviously it's a little too far out to forecast that types of stuff. So we'll see how things go there. But anyways, that's that. That's just a brief little look at the models, essentially. Basically to see what is expected over the next few days. We'll actually do one more quick little thing here. Back over here to this. This is the GFS model yet again. But yeah, I mean, look at that. That's definitely enough energy available in the atmosphere right there. See all that purple stuff? That right there is showing energy. Like so, we call it mixed layer cape. Obviously, mixed layer convective available potential energy. Big word there, but basically just essentially the energy, the fuel that's there for thunderstorms to happen. It is there. It's there. Definitely severe storms could be possible out of this. So once again, Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe southeastern Arkansas could be a target point as of now, but that's still a few days out. We'll still have to watch that. Tomorrow, this should be in the... Yeah, we just have the advection part. Tomorrow, this should be essentially possibly in the mid-range models, maybe the later mid-range models. So tomorrow, not sure what we're doing on the table tomorrow, regarding any any streams. I think we're probably going to, obviously we typically try to go live every night, but not exactly sure anything specific. So we'll see how things go there. I'm going to grab a sounding here, once again, just for fun to see what this has to say here. Wow, that's quite a turning hodograph there. So that's showing us that the wind profile is changing with altitude. So the wind's at the very, very low, very here towards the ground. They're pushing directly north. And then you go up in the atmosphere, about halfway through the thunderstorm, and they're basically pushing a bit more to the northeast. So there's a change in wind direction. Obviously that wind direction will change here. If there's enough energy, could throw out the possibility for some tornadoes. Could throw the potential for some tornadoes. Dew points here, if I'm right, that looks like that's in the upper 60s. I think that says 68. Which that's perfect. That's good. That's good low level moisture. The lower level jet here, basically, those winds here, kind of towards the ground, pretty strong. I mean, they actually are pretty strong there. Then we go up in the atmosphere, and the wind direction changes a bit with a little bit of a trough motion. Yeah, we got ourselves a little. That's a weird looking trough. Let's see. I think that would be considered a long wave trough. Doesn't look detached from the main line. Anyways, Matthew says Maine here. Been a crappy winter for Maine. I remember as a kid going to my grandparents' camp. We had to dig down the roof to get to the door. Now it's freezing rain. Cold climate change. Absolutely. That's the way it's been for a lot of us. It's definitely been a very mild winter for a lot of people. Now others, California, kind of a bit different, for those upper elevations. I mean, they've been dealing with, especially, what was it, last month? Was it January or December? I honestly forgot. But there was a month where it's just battering, when we covered it, just battering after battering of, kicks of, the systems, constant systems happening here across, California. It's just been absolutely nuts. And since I am on the topic, and I'm glad that you brought that up, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the overall forecast for snowfall accumulations here for areas towards California. Because, like I said, there's a possibility some of these areas might just get up into the, maybe into the zones here of, possibly, maybe around 2 feet of snow. Definitely looks quite possible here. Let's see, what's going on with here? Why do I have a satellite view popping up? Interesting. Well, there's a satellite view there for some reason. But let me go ahead and pull up the winter accumulations, possibly, if I can. Maybe not. Interesting. I wonder why that's doing that. Let's see, is that a model or something? Am I looking up a model? Nope, model's disabled. Interesting. I wonder why that's doing that. I have the satellite off. There's satellite imagery off. It's probably a glitch in this. Probably a glitch here. So I tell you what, I'll just take a look at a different website here I always use in order to look at accumulations. This one actually might be a little better anyways. So let's go ahead and switch on over here regarding the snow accumulations for portions of the eastern areas of California. So let's go and do that right now. So you can see right across these areas here, right there once you reach the orange. That orange is basically representing where we're seeing 2 feet or more. And basically that really light color right there, obviously, like I said, obviously that, that really light color there, that's showing the possibility for maybe even up and towards, above 2 feet of snow. Maybe more towards 3 could be possible. So that's a big question. That's a big thing. I know I have a lot of viewers, or there's a few viewers of ours that lives in these regions, which I know this would definitely be quite nasty, for you guys. So that's something to definitely watch out. With this big kick of moisture moving through, it's going to be crazy. And on top of that, wind gusts too. The winds could be gusting as high as maybe 70, 80 miles an hour, possibly even higher. Especially for those peaks. The top of the mountains, that's the worst. That's where the worst of these winds are going to be felt. So I want you to keep that in consideration. So that's like blizzard type conditions here. And speaking of, I think there is no blizzard warnings, but there is a lot of winter storm. There is a lot of winter storm warnings here. So all of that pink you see, across those upper elevations of California, those are all winter storm warnings, basically meaning heavy impacts of winter weather is expected, essentially. A lot of green across the southeast showing some flood warnings, where obviously flooding is imminent or expected to occur shortly. A lot of winter weather advisories across the kind of this purple, bluish color. Cube says Indiana ? For the bad weather. So Indiana at the moment, regarding anything specifically. Let's see. So you said Indiana. Right now, at least over the next 2-3 days, you're looking pretty good. There's a little cold front that could be moving through eventually. Let me take that to the long range here. Might be moving through Indiana, maybe bringing some rain. I'd say probably for the 7th, essentially. The little low pressure system. Yeah, you're probably going to get impacted by that low pressure system, though. That's for the 9th. So look out for possible rain here between like the 7th and the 9th, possibly. Like I said, that's actually been in the models. It's not just the GFS that's supporting this. This is just multiple runs. Multiple different runs, multiple different models. No matter really what model you look at here. I'll pull up Indiana here for you, and we'll pull up the precipitation expectancy. This is the European model. Let's go ahead and line up the screen here for you. Yeah, you can see as we track our way down through, maybe a little bit of rain, and then the big system comes. Boom, and there it comes. Right there, basically for essentially the late 8th and through the 9th. That's kind of what we're seeing here. How are you doing this evening, says Haley? Doing pretty good. Hope you're doing good as well. Glad you finally fixed your camera. Yeah, it hasn't acted up since then. Knock on wood. Let's hope it doesn't act up. It's been kind of a weird camera. I think probably because it's cooler down in the basement. I was in Florida, and where I was at streaming, it was a little warm. But yeah, same thing here. For actually through the 8th into the 9th, that rain across the areas of Indiana. So, something to watch out for, Something to watch out for, absolutely. And with that being said, if there's a specific area that you guys want me to take a look at, feel free to throw down a zip code, and we will look up that zip code, and I'll tell you what you possibly can expect here over the next little bit. Like I said, I really don't take things too far, because obviously the more further you go out in the range, the more, essentially the more inaccurate models tend to get here. Untrustworthy the models become. So with that being said, we're only, like I said, I really only like looking up as max as 5 days. After 5-day mark, no. You see a lot of forecasters saying, oh, look at the 10-day forecast. That always changes. It always changes. Models are not that good, unless if I see something, really far out in advance that's been continuously posting. I've had that a few times. I've been watching weather for years, and I've seen, there's been a few times where even about 2 weeks out, I've seen something that's actually happened. But not saying you should trust the models 2 weeks out, because they're certainly, most of the time, 99.9999% of the time, they always change that far out into something totally different. So, just keep that in mind. Well, like I said, if you're putting the browse models in your own, just keep that in mind. That's essentially how it works. But like I said, let's see, weather changes constantly. Yeah, it really has. Here recently it has been quite a bit, especially really over the last 10 years. There's been a big change in weather in the last 10 years. It's been kind of odd. It's been definitely not normal. It's been a little different, huh? Anyways, like I said, here's actually the future model here. Like I said, obviously this is essentially the NAM 3-kilometer model you're looking at for the future radar view. Like I said, with that little system that possibly could drive through Minnesota here. Timing on this event here is essentially for basically the late 6th. You know, all that pink there showing the possibility of maybe some ice towards like St. Cloud. The blue is more of the impacts of snowfall. There's St. Joseph, St. Cloud region moving through. So, it's possible. You know, that system, I know that one's going to happen. I'm very confident on that one. That's been popping up for a long time. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, though. I really don't. And actually, if we take a look here over at the models, the blend of models, we'll take a look at the blend of models for this one. Like I said, basically the blend of models is a mixed opinion by multiple models, just blend it all together. Now, the blend of models here, you know, regarding a possible accumulation out of this upcoming system here, I really would not be surprised if it's any more than like 1 to 3 inches. Probably should not be that much more. Let's see. Yeah, essentially. Most of these areas not even seeing an inch. Areas towards like Duluth, though, you know, Minnesota, those areas in northeastern Minnesota might see up to an inch, but like I said, really nothing really too much going on, essentially. So, like I said, nothing to get your hopes up with. You know, it's definitely not something to get your hopes up with at all. Can I check on Kansas City, says Haley? Sure. I can pull up, you know, Kansas City here for you. So there's Missouri. There's Kansas City right there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the radar here. You know, the future radar based off of, you know, I'm not going to go any more than 5 days out, like I said. Possibility, you know, we might actually see a bit of a disturbance, as mentioned before, you know, with that system moving through. Possibly here for the 8th. Maybe the 8th through the 9th here. Might be a little bit of snow on the backside, but don't get your hopes up for that right now. But other than that, that kind of looks like your next shot of rain is kind of for the 9th, which is still about 4 days out if you don't consider today. Now, when it comes to... I have 2 different tabs open for that. But when it comes to actually, like, you know... Let's see, we're going to switch over here to the forecast. Not sure what there's forecast here. When it comes to, you know, 2-day outlooks, basically, you know, over the next two days, nothing's expected. Winds over the next day could be gusty, maybe up to 15, 20 miles an hour, honestly. Maybe some wind gusts up to that, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, I mean, essentially nothing too nuts. Temperatures tonight, locally to Kansas City, might be around, you know, just below freezing. You know, maybe around like 30, upper 20s, lower 30s. Tomorrow high, look at that. Tomorrow's high temperature is actually looking pretty daggone nice for you. I mean, lower 60s, I'd take that all day. I would definitely take that all day long. I mean, that's just some nice stuff. Then tomorrow night temperatures not even breaking freezing according to this. So you're good. That's what we're seeing here. But that's there for you, my friend. But like I said, once again, everybody, if you have any questions, like I said, if there's anything that we can do for you, make sure you let us know. Like I said, we're here for you guys. Like I said, other than this little system that's possibly going to be moving through like the 7th and 8th and stuff, there's really not that much activity other than that little clipper, whatever you want to call that, snowstorm. Just a little guy, you know, little snowstorm moving through here. Other than that, and that one little system here, maybe down further in time. Like here's the GFS model. We take a look at the GFS here. You know, kind of tracking our way down here through time. And you can actually see here that first system moves through, and the possibility of that second system right there. Could be driving maybe some storm. You know, as we determined, there's possibly going to be enough energy, you know, more towards like Louisiana, Mississippi regions, possibly even southeastern Arkansas, that might see a bit of thunderstorm activity, and maybe even a bit of soaking rain for the Midwest, Tennessee, Ohio Valley regions. So that's something to keep an eye out there for. According to GFS, there's a little bit of a band of snow possibly coming down as well. A little odd there. Definitely a little bit weird. But anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at. If y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if not, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. Like I said, you know, we did this here yesterday too. I think tomorrow, if we might take off tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure because, like I said, we've been doing personal forecasts here the last 2 days. This is our second day here. Yesterday we did it too. We got a lot of that stuff out of the way. There's just really nothing in the next 1 to 3 days. Monday we'll probably we'll do something for you guys. I think one of these days I want to do a member forecast for everybody. You know, obviously for our members. So that will probably be possibly Tuesday, maybe Tuesday. We'll figure all that out. We will we'll definitely figure all that stuff out whenever the time comes. But all right, my friends. Well, you know what? I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up the live stream here for tonight. Once again, thank you all for joining us. Greatly appreciated. You guys are the best. And with that being said, all right, like I said, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be catching you guys tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to take off. I think tomorrow we're going to probably do something else. We'll figure it out. Tomorrow we'll probably do another update just like we've been doing here tonight. And we'll talk more about that when the time comes. Let's see. Do members live stream? The weather has been inactive. Yeah, essentially, I think we should do a members only live stream here soon. That might be for Monday. We'll probably do members Mondays, essentially. Cool says good night, Andrew. Good night, Cool. Thank you for joining us. Haley says thank you. No problem, Haley. No problem at all. But yeah, Rain, I'll probably do a member forecast on Monday. Tomorrow we'll do another one of these, and then Tuesday will be the next one. So we'll be sure to keep y'all in the we'll be sure to keep y'all in the gist of things and what's going on out there. All right, my friends. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. We're going to go ahead and switch on over here to the ending screen. Once again, thank you all for everything. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your Saturday night. Obviously, hope you guys have an amazing Sunday tomorrow as well. And once again, thank all of you all for joining us. Thank all of our supporters out there. All of you guys absolutely rock. If you have not already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. You guys are the best. Always knew that. We'll always be here for y'all. Like I said, once again, thank every single one of y'all for joining us. And, all right, my friends. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. We'll catch you guys here in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Love y'all. Stay safe out there.
Highs in the mid-30s. Southeast winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Monday night, mostly cloudy. A 50% chance of rain and snow in the evening. Lows in the upper 20s. Southwest winds 15 to 20 miles an hour, shifting to the west overnight. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-30s. Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-20s. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 30s. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy. Lows in the upper 20s. Thursday, mostly cloudy. Highs in the mid-30s. Thursday night, colder. Mostly cloudy. Lows around 17. Friday, colder. Mostly cloudy. Highs in the mid-20s. Friday night, mostly cloudy. Lows around 11. Saturday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 20s. Again, the forecast for the Twin Cities metropolitan area for tonight. Mostly cloudy, then becoming partly cloudy overnight, then becoming mostly cloudy. Lows in the lower 20s. West winds up to 10 miles an hour. This is weather radio station KEC 65 Minneapolis, St. Paul. On a frequency of 162.550 megahertz. Serving listeners throughout much of east central Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota. And transmit from the KSTP Eyewitness News Television Tower in St. Paul. The current time is 8:09 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight,